Today's host is Mr. Syed Ashar Ali Wasi. He is an advocate, consultant, and a social activist. He is also an alumnus of National Law University, Patiala, with an experience of 13 years in the field of litigation, along with association with civil societies like UN Oxfam, ICRC, Action Aid, ICUL India, awardee of National Excellence Award for Social Legal Development 2018 and 2019, awardee of International Certificate of Commitment by World Book of Records, London and Switzerland for legal and social contribution in COVID times. Let's have an AMP PPT to actually explain to you what AMP is all about before we start the seminar. AMP is registered in India, USA, UK, and Australia as a non-profit organization, and AMP has completed 13 years serving our community in the field of education, employment, and empowerment. AMP has a vision to positively impact lives of 10 million people by 2030. AMP's mission is to empower the underprivileged for the greater benefit of the society in general and nation as a whole. AMP's vision is to be a model community which is advanced in education, socially progressive, culturally vibrant, politically influential, and economically dynamic. AMP has many branches wherein it has achievements in the first is the school development program, where it has given 2,800 plus skill development lectures in 800 plus schools, through which 281,000 students were benefited. Along with it, we provided 110 plus teacher training and parenting workshops. The next branch is the employment assistance cells, where AMP has organized 360 plus job fairs and drives, through which 21,000 candidates were employed and 220 plus employment trainings were given, through which 17,000 degree students benefited. AMP also provides scholarship and self-employment programs. Up to the date, 800 plus higher education scholarships are given, 860 plus orphans educations were sponsored, and 425 plus lives of the families transformed by offering self-employment assistance. AMP also has a resource center which has 660 plus career counselors, where we have counseled 2,500 plus students so far, and documents of 50 plus career guidance. AMP has been renowned educationalist and connected and awarded 50 plus partners for skill training and job fairs, including state governments. AMP also has partnered with 100 plus NGOs for various other programs. The new digital initiatives by AMP. AMP has recently launched indiazakat.com, the indiamentors.com, and amppowerjobs.com. Indiazakat.com is India's first Zakat crowdfunding platform floated by AMP with a view to bring the Zakat seekers and the Zakat givers on a unified platform. Its objective is to undertake its operations purely with the intent of bringing socio-economic transformation in the lives of the needy and the distressed people. The indiamentors.com strives for the development of a vibrant and progressive student and young professional community in India. The indiamentors.com envisions a fully educated and empowered student community where no one is left out of the wheels of progress and development due to lack of awareness and guidance. AMP powerjobs.com is a job portal free for job seekers with comprehensive openings, including skill training and employability training programs. AMPpowerjobs.com has been specially created by industry professionals for the sake of freshers and those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. AMP has an online presence of 125,000 members and professionals. They are connected via Instagram, Facebook, Google, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. an on-ground presence of 140 plus active chapters, which are spread across 26 states with 16 countries, and it has 6,000 plus active members. To join AMP, visit www.ampindia.org/joinamp. So this is about the AMP and what are the features that we do. I request you all to also register yourself in the AMP Power Jobs to know about the future openings. Inshallah, let's begin with our seminar today. Mr. Syed Ashar Ali, who is an advocate, consultant, and a social activist. He is an alumnus of National Law University, Patiala, with an experience of 13 years in the field of litigation, along with association with civil societies like UN, Oxfam, ICRC, ActionAid, ICUL India, awardee of National Excellence Award for Social Development 2018 and 2019, awardee of International Certificate of Commitment by World Book of Records, London and Switzerland for legal and social contribution in COVID times. Over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I would request if you can share the PPT. I hope आप सब बहुत अच्छे होंगे and you must be doing well in this time of turmoils. And I wish and I pray to Almighty Allah that you all must be good and be good, inshallah. I'm very much thankful, first of all, to AMP for giving me this very good opportunity to interact with the youngsters who are actually coming up with for seeking their future in something or the other. And giving me this opportunity, I can give them some hints and some pointers to go ahead with the topic of today, that is career in law and judiciary, the need of the hour. So, friends, I'll start from scratch. Why we need law? Since early of the times, like if we talk about since the day this whole humanity was created, since the day the religions were created, since that day, the law was the first and the foremost thing which was there. हम अगर इसको इस तरीके से देखा जाए कि कानून, तो कानून कबाइल या जो ट्राइब्स हुआ करती थी उसमें भी था, कानून बाद में जब राजा रजवाड़े हुए उनमें भी था, जो एम्पायर्स नहीं उनमें भी था, और कानून आज भी है. So it is very well said that law is the oldest profession in the world. अब हम इसको इस तरीके से देखें कि why to opt law? Because first and the foremost thing is that law is a profession. All right. And when you are into a profession, that is a service-based profession because you are serving the society for betterment of the society within the purview of law. Then law in itself is not just a single word, like a three-letter word law. It has a huge perspective. It has a huge purview wherein you will find n number of laws carrying up on taking up each and everything within your surroundings. Like if you talk about you are using a toothpaste in your home, even that toothpaste is governed within the principles of law. There is a law of land which is governed to make these kind of things, that what is to be done and what is not to be done. So the law covers each and every aspect of your life, each and everything of your life, which you use, which you do, or which you see. Next, please. So please come to the third slide. So if we talk about like to start with this whole process, I'll say that I have divided this whole process into four parts. That first, what is law? Second, why to choose law? Third, what after legal education? And fourth, what is the law? Why law is need of the hour? आज की क्या जरूरत है law? इन चार हिस्सों में इस पूरी चीज को बांटा गया है. So we'll start with the first one. What is law? Ma'am, can you please come on the fourth slide? Slide 4. Yes, thank you. So, very easily saying, though not going by the books or not going by the said or written law, but it is a very clear notion that law, in a very simple terms, is how to govern a society or how a society will be moved within a periphery or within a structure. There are some rules and norms, even which we follow at home. Even our mother or our father, they always say that these are the things which you should do and which you should not do. When you make or think or take these things into a larger purview, this particular thing becomes a law. So law, basically, if you go a bit historical way, if you will go to, so law started with customs. Whatever the customs were followed within the society or within a tribe or within जो पहले अगर हम देखें छोटे कबीले होते थे, तो within that tribes, whatever the customs were followed, they were gradually treated as law. All right. अगर हम इसको देखेंगे तो in India, I'm going a bit technical. We can take it afterwards in a question if you want. In India, we go with procedure established by law. All right. So whatever the laws in India are, they are established by the parliament or the parliamentarians who are sitting there, who are making the laws. But in general, apart from India, if you see, the laws are based on customs. So the rest of most of the countries, they follow the customary law. All right. So coming back on the generalization of law or general practices of law, so it is basically a practice, or you can say a set principles or rules which actually protects you, your family, and your society from getting chaotic or being, you can say, being dissolved in any innumerous manners. Law has that basic instinct that it creates, in by default, it creates a purview within the within a structure that you won't go out and beyond. If you go, the law is there to punish you. All right. So in every civil society, if you see, in every civilized society, if you see, law is inherent nature of it. When we say, in generally, when we say, when you are a student, when you say that sports, we have to play sports when you are in school, you always say that we have to play sports. Why? Because that is your right. So when there is a right, when there is a duty, duty towards yourself, duty towards your family, your school or your nation or whatever soever. So when there are rights, when there are duties, these rights and duties come within the purview of law. All right. Then if we see it very closely, in almost like I said, that if you use a toothpaste, even if you are using a phone, so the phone, the components of the phone must be governed with certain principle and certain procedures of law. Without that procedures, you cannot use or make your phone or use or make your watches, your eyewears or anything. Everything has to be governed with a law. That is how the things get normalized, and that is how the things are coming to you in a good manner. All right. So next, please. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So we all, whenever we usually, it happens even when I joined, before me joining law, my family has this perception that law always deal with criminals. There are like police cases and people will deal with criminals. And it was an old story, because when we started, it was 18, 20 years back, we started our law. So at that point of time, people were not very much aware about the things. But now you all are very much aware. So then to define law, or to say that what is law basically. So law is not just reading heavy books. There are few things, which defines law in a very clearer way. First, there is a law for crimes. there is a law for civil. All right. So now to is there any disturbance between? Please mute the mic.
Asma ma'am, please mute yourself.
Yes. Thank you. So initial days, even when I started my practice like 20 years back, I'm sorry, 13 years back, and when I started studying 20 years back, at that point of time, law only was defined within two branches of law. That is, one is criminal and one is civil. Criminal had all the things which you see in movies, which you read daily in your papers, that someone has done something against one person, or someone has looted someone. These all things come within the purview of criminal law. Secondly, civil law. Civil law is a law where it is governed like the cases of your property, your will, or if you have some agreements with someone and there is a breach of agreement. So all these things are covered within the civil laws. But gradually, when things changed, now for you people, law has become very, you can say, vast and very dynamic. Likewise, now we have lot of things like you all, most of you or all of you use Facebook, Instagrams, then your Twitter, Snapchat. So these all are governed by cyber laws. So like when we are like right now we are doing the Zoom meeting. So this Zoom meeting even is governed within the purview of law, that is within the cyber law. And there are different patterns of law nowadays which are followed, and which you people can follow according to your desire, according to your qualification. Though you can be an engineer, then after you can pursue law. You can be a doctor, then after you can pursue law. So law is a forte for everyone. So if you are an engineer, if you are, suppose you are interested in aeronautics, then you can go for space laws, you can go for aviation laws. If you are interested in marine engineering, then you can go for maritime law. If you are a computer engineer, you can go for cyber law. Even if you are a chemical engineer, even if you are a student of maths, or if you are a student of physics, chemistry, biology, everything has a law for it and a specialization for it. That is the beauty of law nowadays. And you can say we have, in general manner, in metro cities mostly, most of the lawyers have said goodbye to the old practice, or you can say the old style of practice. They have all opted for the new style of things, coming, learning new courses like cyber laws. Even I have, if I can give my example on, I did my specialization in aviation laws. I did my specialization in maritime law. I did my specialization in human rights, international humanitarian law. Like my own specialization and masters was international humanitarian law. Hardly 20 to 25 people opt for these courses at that point of time. Why? Because people were not aware. But now, if you opt for them, you can have like so many opportunities with you that you won't be even imagining that where have you landed, because the ocean of law is vast. It is too vast. Can we have the next slide, please? Can we have next slide? Thank you. So now I have said that there are many branches of it, this law and that law. But why still there is a confusion that why to take law? There is a, you can say, a very set mindset of people that if we are going to do law, then we have to go to district courts, we have to sit there, the uh, environment out there, the people out there are not good, we have to meet criminals, this and that. There are a lot many things. But once, even I used to think that why will I go and sit within the aluminum sheets, beneath the aluminum sheets, and waste my time over there talking to criminals? Why should I do that? But lately, when I came to practice, when I came into litigation, I found that the first and the foremost thing is the analysis of a case. There is a cause. The cause is that when you read a case, when a person comes to you, when you guide him, you will see that there are few things which are good and there are few things which are bad. And law is not about only about good and bad. Being a lawyer, it is representation. It is not about only about that you will be representing a good person or you will be representing a bad person. It will be about a fact of the whole case. Law is about being a lawyer, it is about representation. You are representing law. You are not representing that particular criminal, though you are an advocate of him, but you are representing law. You are taking out and bringing out flaws of the law before the judge. You are not lying before him. That is a very, you can say, a huge perception within the society that if you are a lawyer, you lie. No, it's not like that. It is always that you are representing law, you are representing your client based on the facts and circumstances and the papers provided to you by your client before a judge. And then it is judge who is deciding the case, not you. All right. So this is a basic thing, which why I say that why you should choose law, because first and the foremost thing, there are a lot many things. Like you might be have been reading newspapers lately. There are many things coming up. Like there is a forest area. If people are from Mumbai, you know about RA forest. If you are from Madhya Pradesh, you must be knowing about Bakswa forest mining area or any other thing. You like the migration, the people's migration, or if you are in school, then during the lockdown scenes, there was a fees escalation from schools, and schools are continuously asking fees. So there is a cause in it. There is a cause in it that when a forest is being cut, are you a lawyer who can stand before the court for a righteous thing to do, which is defined within the purview of Constitution? Because Constitution guarantees, as I said, rights and duties. So Constitution guarantees you. Most of us, we don't know that right to life is a fundamental right of a person that is given, that is saved by law. Right to breathe, right to eat good food, drink good water, breathe fresh air. These all are rights which are provided to us by law. Though they are inherent rights, but still they are provided by law and they are safeguarded by law. So when you talk about cause, there are many things where you stand before the court seeking justice for those who cannot seek it directly from the government or from any other one. There are many time it happens that some houses are demolished because of some new project coming up. So you can go, you can stand for the cause, you can stand for the right things to be done. You can seek justice from the court being a lawyer because you know the law. Secondly, then when you talk about the governance part is that every inch of the system, or you can say from police, from administration, or from courts, from parliamentarians who are making the law, being a lawyer, you are known to every fact and every possible condition of the working of system. Administration, you know how they work. Police, you know how they work. So that is the best part of being an advocate, that you people come to you for seeking an advice for every facet of life. That is the best part, and that is the most challenging part, which I like particularly. Thirdly, wide range of options. As I said, that you are an engineer, you can opt for like you're a math student, you can opt for any aviation law or maritime law or chemical laws, or in number of laws are there. Then intellectual challenges and growth. The best part and the newest and the toughest and challenging part in this whole process is the intellectual things. Intellectual things comes with like whatever Like I have shared this presentation, and this presentation, as it is made by me, it is my intellectual property. It is my intelligence which has created it. All right. So this is particularly my property, and the world is going around it right now. This is the most booming part of the law as of now. People are like, they are working day and night to save intellectual rights of the people. Then prestige. Prestige, I can say it is a very uh, like, it is a very huge word to say. You can say a huge word. Prestige. When you enter in court, what I felt and what many of my colleagues felt, when we entered the court, when we were in our earlier ages, so at that point of time, whenever a person comes to us, people always gives you respect. You don't have to demand it, you will always command it. Why? Because being a lawyer, people know that you are the one who knows the law, you are the one who is there to safeguard their rights, and that is why people respect you. That is why people get fascinated to you, because of your dynamic approach, because you know what are the flaws and what are the stronger points of this particular law or this particular thing or system. This is the best part of it, that it gives you respect along with the dynamism. Then the financial rewards, I must not say, but every field takes a lot of hard work. Initially, being a lawyer, though it is a struggle nowadays, and when we started, it was a huge struggle, because at that point of time, juniors were not paid at all, not no stipends were given to juniors. But nowadays, law firms are there. There are many offices, many companies who are hiring people. They are paying good to students, they are paying good to interns, and when you become a lawyer, they are paying you good, just to make sure that your daily earnings must not be hampered. You get a stipend from the companies or from the law firms, and then after, when you earn yourself, when you are established in your own way, then this sky is the limit. That what I can assure you. All right. Then the best part, the another best part of it is flexibility. You are your own boss. Though initially you have to work under someone to learn or to train yourself in a better manner, then but after some time, when you are, you can say that yes, now I can go independently and make my own way. At that point of time, you this is the most easiest and flexible field I have ever seen. I can go anywhere at any point of time. I can take off from my office at any point of time. I don't have to answer anyone to uh, do anything. Even the courts allow you to go. You can request the court. That's I have this and this so and so appointments, and I won't be able to appear before you. So court say okay. So that is the beauty of it. And being a lawyer, if you are good at your work, if you are thorough with your work, and if you are loyal with your work, then you will be having humongous contacts. People will know you through your name, through your work. Because once, if you are working on a very good manner, or you can say you are working in a very better way, then by default, people will know you by your name. That is what law is. That is what is the beauty of law is. Next slide, please. So, people think that when you go into law school or when you join a law college, it must be very tough, having lots and lots of books, having lots and lots of laws to read, sections to read, case laws to read. But frankly speaking, even I had this dicey thing in my mind while going and joining my law school. Even I was having the same thing in my mind. But lately, when I started this, I found it very easy, because most of the things which we read or which we study or which we learn, they are all based on real life examples. it is a very easy thing that whenever in law we read a section, the section explain itself in a manner that X does this to Y. So it is a real life example they are giving you to explain that. And it is a very easy thing to understand. Yet, law in particular, when we say you are a lawyer, so you are always a learned lawyer. You can never be learned. आपकी पढ़ाई कभी पूरी नहीं होगी. आपको अपने आप को अपडेट हमेशा रखना है. क्यों? Because there are continuous updates, there are continuous amendments, like you see in papers that many a time it happens that Supreme Court said this, Supreme Court said that, or this particular High Court said this, Bombay High Court said this, Delhi High Court said this. So these are the new and upcoming rules according to the frames of society or according to the change of society. So law is a very easy and conceptual thing to learn. What I feel, even I feel that you people will also, if you will choose law as a career, you will also learn very easily because you are much more smarter than us, than our generations. So in person, and law, the best part of law, best part of learning a law is that it has given you a liberty of interpretation. I can have a different interpretation of law. You can have a different interpretation of law. Third person can have a different interpretation of law. But the interpretation does not mean that you are reading the law wrong. So law, even when law is like you contest a case, the interpretations can be different. So law is never about winning or losing. It is about how you present it according to interpretation, according to your own wisdom, and according to your own thoughts and your thoughtfulness. So that is what the easiest way and the best way to study law. Next, please. Well, icons of the world. That is, I always say that, particularly in India, if we say, there are not many people. Like you may see the list. I have given that Mr. Barack Obama, ex-US president, our own Mahatma Gandhi, the most revolutionary Mr. Nelson Mandela, president of US, Mr. Abraham Lincoln, our own Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and many more like him, B.R. Ambedkar, many more like him are there, who we can jot down a list of legends who are the lawyers. But as I always say, that if you are a lawyer and if you are good at it, then there will be many avenues which will open door for you, and you can go ahead and excel in your life. Even if you see, I'll give a very shorter example of it. Most of the you can say the parliamentarians or the MPs who win the election, who are ministers as of now, most of them are lawyers. Why? Because law in itself is a huge field which has varied and dynamic knowledge of law. A person, when you know law, you know everything. That is what I feel. That is what most of the people out there who are practicing, who are doing work in litigation, they feel that once you know the law, you know everything. And when you know the law, you are at par of your excellence. Next, please. There are many times it happens that people think that what to do after law. Do I have to go court? Do I have to start practice? Oh, it will be so boring. Why will I go to court? What will I do there? How will I learn practice? This was the scenario when I think 20 years back, this was the scenario that people used to do law, and they used to go to court and start practicing. But now it is not the scene. Even if I'll give my own example, I started my career. I did my specialization in international law, international humanitarian law, and human rights. All right. And I started my career by working with an international organization named International Committee of the Red Cross. All right. I worked with them. I worked with them for research works. As a legal assistant, I worked for at least for 3 to 4 years. And then after, due to few things, then after I opted for litigation, and since then I'm practicing independently. But nowadays there are lot many things. Even you must be aware, you must not be aware about the things like you hear about Supreme Court judges and High Court judges. I'll start with the first thing, that after your legal education is complete, you can opt and you can apply for legal researcher for the judges of High Court and Supreme Court. There are many students who are working for who work for 5 to 7 years, 10 years with Supreme Court judges, and they are their permanent researchers. So basically, you are eye and ear of a Supreme Court or a High Court judge. You are paid good in that. Secondly, then there is legal practice like I do independently or with any law firm or with any lawyer. Then there is a very good thing which I particularly feel that people must choose, that there is a lack of good law professors and good law teachers. In India, particularly, after law, most of the people go for practice and litigation. But there are very rare people and very limited people who go for research. And only those who go for research can be good in teaching. And they can opt for teaching, because more and more teachers, if comes out, then more and more good students will be coming out in field of law. That is why we need good teachers in field of law. Then obviously, as I said, judiciary. Judiciary is one of the most toughest but yet the best profession within and after the completion of your legal education. How? If you uh, clear your judiciary exam, after that, you are just seen, you as you must be seeing that yes, he is a judge or he is a High Court judge or he is a district court judge. But after that, the powers, the facilities which you get, they are immense. You can't even imagine. You get every possible thing you desire. You get everything you want legally. Obviously legally, not illegally, but legally you will get if you are a judge. And once you are a judge, you are above the administration, you are above the police, you are above any other person in this. If you are a district court judge, then in that particular district, and if you are a High Court judge, then in 7 to 10, 8 districts. If you are a Supreme Court judge, then in whole of India, you are above everyone. If you are a judge, you can govern them, you can rule them, prescribe them with the set principle of law that yes, these are the rules which you have to follow. Then comes a very new thing. A very new thing came into existence in coming, like I think last 4 5 years. That is legal journalism. There are few websites like Bar and Bench, then Legal Era or Legal. These type of websites are there. There are law students who are acting as journalists. No one has ever thought that even a lawyer can turn into a journalist. But most of these students are opting for this legal journalism. There you have to cover the only your legal stories. And believe me, most of the stories you get in newspaper are in some or the other way a legal story. That is touching the purview of law in some or the other way. Then there are authors. I think you might, most of you or some of you must have read Dan Brown's novel. Dan Brown is one of the most trusted, or you can say the most cherished writers or authors within the field of law. Most of the professors or most of the teachers of law always recommend you Dan Brown. So there are authors who write good law fictions. There are good things to come up. Next slide, please. So now coming up to the point that why you have to choose law, or you can say why choosing law is need of the hour. Present situation, you can say. Present situation as we are seeing. I'm going on a bit of an intense side. If you can see, there are lot many things happening around you. People are being harassed, women are being harassed, all right. There are cases of some, you can say, some violence. There are environmental damages, and there are many other things like this happening. But there are very less people who are there to stand in a righteous manner for giving or for making the things right within the purview of law. If you are a lawyer, let's say, I'll give you an example. If you are a lawyer, if you see, like I quoted the example of RA Forest, if you can see, if you must have seen at that point of time, there were few lawyers who approached Bombay High Court for stopping the whole process of cutting down the trees and setting up of metro depot, the rail depot in there in RA Forest. So there are lawyers. There were lawyers who stood before the High Court of Bombay and asked and sought the righteous approach that this is the environmental damage and we cannot go for it. You cannot allow it. The government ask the government to stop. So that is why the lawyers are needed. And the what I feel, in last few years, there was a time when everyone used to opt law because there was no option. All right, there was no option of work. So everyone used to choose law in that manner. But in this time, in present times, what I feel that you should choose law because people also need good lawyers within the society. People also need the lawyers who can actually come and work, who can earn well. And believe me and trust me, once you are through in this field, the sky is the limit. As I said earlier, there is a there is no limit of earnings in this particular field. There are lawyers who are earning, you won't believe, even who are just for reading a file, they take 2.5 lakh rupees per sitting. So sky is the limit. But the only prerequisite of this is that you have to study law, you have to come up with a righteous approach, and you have to be on a right path of law. Then only you can uh, go for this particular behavior of yours, or you can say the excelling behavior of yours. Next slide, please. Like I said, the growth prospects I told you, there are many things. Like now, even growth prospect, you can see if you start from after completion of your college, you can join some law firm. Even there are lot many companies like I'll give you example from like the Mercedes, or you can say the Indian Oil, or you can say Reliance, or government bodies, every private sector, government sector, even if you say the Indian Army is there, police is there, the Air Force is there, or your Indian Navy is there. Everyone is in need of a legal person within their fraternity. The reason being that everyone needs to have a clarity about every day's doings and every day's ups and downs. So there is a vacancy of law officer, then either it's 1 or 10 or 15. Every year, there are lots and lots of vacancies in every sector. In every sector, and they are paying very good. They are paying in a very corporate style. They are even working in a very corporate style. And being a legal officer, the best part of it is that you don't have to deal with any of the finances or any of the things. You just have to deal with the best of the part of the company, that you are the savior of the company. The company's finances, the company's managements, the company's operations, all depends on a legal officer, because he has to be right and he has to take a right approach for making the company grow. That is how important a lawyer or a law officer is within a company or within a society. Next, please. Like I was saying, that there are very much dynamism There is a dynamism in the field of law, and it is updating every day. Like you can see, there is a cryptocurrency law. Most of you must have read in newspapers, if you are reading it, that Bitcoin is there. So there, the day things come within a market, next day you will get a law for it. So in that manner, the cryptocurrency law is there. Fake news, the most dirty things which is floating around these days is fake news. So even for governing and controlling and punishing the people who are spreading fake news, a law is there. Artificial intelligence. We see that when we talk to our Google on our phones, so that is an artificial intelligence. The Google understands you and it gives you the answer accordingly. So artificial intelligence is also governed within the framework of law, that how much AI will be used in a particular thing or how much it is not. Then data privacy. You all are using your mobile phones. Your mobile phone has lots and lots of data, like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like Instagram. So for protection of these data, when you must have seen, when you log into any account, they always ask you to accept their privacy policy. So that is the privacy law. That is the governance of law, that a particular app or particular website has to maintain a privacy of your data. All right. So in all, law is a huge and a vast ocean where you have to choose it and you have to find an opportunity for your own self. There are people who will be guiding you in a much better manner, but it is up to you that how you want to define your own thing and your own line of action. Whether you want to go for a job in a company, whether you want to go for an independent practice, or you want to go for a government job, or you want to go for a freelancing job. There are many options. Even after this, you have an option of choosing of the subject specialization. You can go for masters, you can go for PhDs, you can go for further research, you can go for better and best organizations like United Nations is opting lawyers in heavy numbers. Like I am associated with ICRC, I am associated with United Nations, Action Aid, Oxfam. These all are international organizations who are looking for bright and lawyers with vision and wisdom. So, in my opinion, if you opt law, it is one of the most challenging profession in this world, because every day you get to know a new thing, you get to learn a new thing, and every day you get to learn something new through a person's psychology, through a person's approach, or through a legal approach. That's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. The session was quite enlightening. Now we will get into the question answers. So the first question is, how can I study law in foreign?
Okay. See, there are 2-3 things. That first thing first is you can opt for the universities first. All right. There are universities in Europe. And to make you clear on this point, first thing you have to understand that if you are going to study law in foreign, then you have to see that whether that particular law, when you come back, is applicable in India or not. All right. So first thing is that you have to go for a Commonwealth country where the Commonwealth law prevails. All right. So in that manner, you, like if you go to London, so most of the laws in London, like Britain and India, are similar. So if you go to London, then there are many scholarships which they provide. Online scholarships are there. Even Government of India provides a scholarship for students who are going for international studies in law. And there are lot many colleges. There are lot many colleges are there. Even AMP will help you in that, searching for the same. But it is easy nowadays to go and opt for international education in law.
Thank you, sir. A lot many participants have asked about the CLAT exam, like how to prepare for it, reference books for it.
Okay. See, very it was a very good thing and good question, because even I was the first CLAT batch aspirant. So it is a very easy thing. See, first and the foremost thing, you have to be very conscious about your current affairs, your general knowledge. A basic maths is necessary, and read more and more newspaper, read more and more things around you, which will be coming up in, you can say, in a vast number. Your current affairs, your general knowledge, and your maths, the basic maths, will help you out in reaching your CLAT. And CLAT is, believe me, CLAT is not very tough. It is just the presence of mind you must have, and the you can say the time of action you're taking in doing your questions or solving your questions is must. The only two things you have to be very much careful about, that first, your presence of mind, that what you are writing and what you are saying or what you are ticking, that is the must. And rest depend on your current affairs, you can depend on your general knowledge. And yes, I will suggest to each and everyone, if you're going for law, then kindly practice and make yourself strong in either of the languages, even if it's Hindi, if it's English, if it's your local any language like Marathi, Gujarati, Kannada, Odia, anything. Just make yourself strong in at least one language. That will help you a lot.
Any reference books, sir?
See, times have changed, but still LexisNexis is the best book to understand the CLAT.
Thank
And
you, sir.
there are many other books. There are many other books, because like these days, a lot of publications are coming up with these books. But still, I'll prefer that LexisNexis is much better than others.
Okay, sir. So there is one conception that
Yes.
LLB can be a great launch pad for USPC applicants. It improves many skills like writing, public speaking skills. How true is this?
UPSC aspirants.
Yes, sir.
Huh. See, I'll say that it is a good thing, because there are two things. One is that you do improve your writing skills. Because you always write or you always draft with interpretation. So there is always a functioning of mind which gives you an extra edge in your writing. All right. Second thing, public speaking with a lawyer, it are two different things. Public speaking is a very different thing, and being a lawyer is a very different thing. Because when you are speaking as a lawyer, or even if you are going to be a UPSC aspirant, you don't have to go before the public and speak. It is that you, being a lawyer, get a confidence of speaking before anyone. It is not about being public, or it is not about being speaking before a judge. And trust me and believe me, speaking before public is much easier than speaking before a judge. Judge is more tougher than a public. So it is your confidence. Being a lawyer, it makes you enough confident to speak, and to speak in a you can say a very authentic and a very naturalized way.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, can
Yes.
you explain the role of a solicitor and how can we become one?
See, I'll say in this particular regard, I'll say to it that a solicitor, first of all, you have to start with being a lawyer. Then solicit is basically a consultant. A solicitation is basically giving a consultant or preparing a document, you can say. So in that manner, uh, when you opt for law, after that, when you complete your law, all right. So now you have, apart from these, what I said, you have one another, you can, the way of work, that is being a consultant. Consultant in itself is a solicitor. There you give advice to people. There you draft for them, and you are paid for that. But for being a solicitor in India, particularly for being a solicitor, you need to have a very good experience within your field, because as a fresher, no one will take you as a consultant, and as a fresher, no one will trust in your drafting. So for that, at least 5 to 10 years of practice, then you can act as a solicitor. But you are a lawyer in itself, but you can act as a solicitor too.
Thank you, sir. So the next few questions are about the judge. Like, how do we
Yes.
become a judge,
Yes.
and what are the options and work we have to do to, becoming a judge?
See, for becoming a judge, first of all, there are two parts of it. First of all, you have to prepare for an exam. All right. When you will be in your final year, mostly when you are in your final year, you give a pre-exam in most of these states, or you can say in all these states, have a different judicial. The judicial pattern is same, but exams are different. Like in Madhya Pradesh, it is MP judiciary. In Maharashtra, it is Maharashtra judiciary. Every state has a different exam for judicial appointments. So what happened? First, you have to go for a pre-examination. All right, the first phase of exam. So you give it. There are, like in Madhya Pradesh, there are around, I think, 11, 12, 13 subjects are there in pre-exam. If you qualify for for this particular pre-exam, if you clear it, then you can prepare for you start preparing for your mains exam. So main, in particular, Madhya Pradesh has 21 subjects of law. So if you are cleared with mains, then you go for your interview. And once, most of the time it happens that once you are clear with your main, you do clear your interviews, and then you go for a training for at least for 2 years. You will be on probation, and then you will start with a lower judiciary, like judicial magistrate first class. So this is how you become a judge. But uh, if you really want to become a judge, then I must say that, from, like, if you opt for your 5 years law, then start studying for your judiciary exam from your fourth year. If you opt for 3 years law, then you start studying from your second year.
Thank you, sir. The another set of questions are about, can they do LLB like after graduation, either doing BA or BTech?
Yes, yes, yes. You, as I said earlier, you must be remembering that if you are an engineer, then you can do law. If you are a doctor, then you can do law. If you are you have done your BA or BBA or BSc or anything, you can do law. Law can be done after anything, like any graduation. But the difference is that if you start your law after your 12th examination, then you have to study it for 5 years, and for your graduation. And if you do it after your graduation, then you have to study it for 3 years.
Thank you, sir. What are the benefits of MBA after a law degree?
See, that was basically, you can say, uh, I think 10 years back, it was very much apt, and people were opting in a very larger manner, that after doing law, people were opting for MBA for getting good corporate jobs. But lately, uh, people have started choosing masters of law rather than MBA, because after your law, you will be treated, you won't be like, you will be treated in two ways. You will be a lawyer, but you can't give a legal service to anyone. And you are an MBA, but you cannot practice law. All right. So in this manner, the people have started opting for LLM. Why? The reason being that nowadays companies are asking and seeking the employees with specialization in same field. All right. Secondly, if you are a lawyer, and if you are not a lawyer exactly, but if you are a law student or a law graduate, and after that you join a company as a legal officer, you have an authority to go and practice and stand before the court for your own company. But after doing law and then MBA, So you will be appointed as MBA, but you won't be having an authority to stand before the court as a lawyer for your company.
Thank you, sir. So what is the career scope in corporate and financial law?
See, nowadays corporate and financial laws are in boom, and it will be boom in like for another 10 years. It is like the corporate laws basically define the companies. You can do it in two manners. One is by joining a company within its framework. You join it, you be its employee. You start working for the legal system within the company, or as a lawyer, even you can work like I do. I do have a lot of companies whom I work for as a lawyer. So they have their lot many cases are there, like they have their corporate disputes, they have their legal agreement with their employees, they have their settlement agreements, they have their company law cases. So there is a huge periphery, or you can say a parabola of it, where you can opt for. Secondly, the laws financial laws in these days have changed in itself, because companies law and financial law are moreover same. But in corporates, when you talk about corporate law, corporate is moreover governed with this civil nature of law. Civil nature is like dispute of property, dispute of intellectual property, dispute of money, or dispute of an agreement. But when you talk about, on other hand, the financial law, so now the financial law initially used to cover only civil, but now it also cover criminal. Criminal as in, we all see in every day's like newspaper and TV news that CBI has raided, or EOW, Economic Offense Wing, has raided, or Enforcement Directorate has raided, so and so, so and so. So these all are coming under financial laws these days. So it also has a very huge purview, and this particular two things, along with intellectual property and the upcoming laws like cyber law, aviation, and AI laws, this will be in boom for another 10 years, believe me.
Thank you, sir. Is it true that litigation internships play an important role if you want to end up in corporate law?
See, it depends where you are working. Like, there are lawyers where it depends on the student, it depends on the lawyers, both in both ways. There are lawyers where you go for internship and you won't get to learn a single word in whole month of internship, just because they already have so huge pile of numbers of people working with them that they cannot give you a proper work. On the other hand, there are lawyers who do really help you in learning the things, but it depends on you that how you learn them. So coming on the second point, that whether the internship will help you to go for corporate law or not, it depends again on what type of internships you are doing. If you're doing internship in companies, so then definitely you will be learning the framework of the companies or the corporate laws, how they are governed. If you are coming again to the litigation side of practice, then you have a varied choice of laws, like huge choice of laws and huge choice of cases where you are learning in different manners.
Thank you, sir. So is it feasible for a law graduate from India to go abroad and do a JD in a foreign country, that too not a common law country?
See, it is like that when you are a lawyer from India, all right, then there is a exam in every country wherever you go. Like most of the countries, like Australia is there, Canada is there, US is there, then Europe, most of the countries in Europe, Singapore is there. These countries, they provide a system where you go, where you take a visa, and then you opt for an exam. You have to opt for an exam. If you pass that exam, then another 3 to 4 or 5 months, or a year, depending on the country's law, of internship you have to do, and then you get a license of practice in that particular country.
Thank you, sir. This question we have,
Yes.
for an IT software engineer and having 7 to 8 years of experience, He wants to become a cyber lawyer. How can he proceed? As he cannot go now and do an LLB regular course for continuous 3 years. He has also done a diploma course in cyber law without an LLB degree. Can he have a successful career in cyber law?
See, he can just be a consultant, nothing more. He cannot contest any cases. Because for being a lawyer, for being contesting a case or being appearing before a court, you have to have a knowledge of law along with a degree and a registration with Bar Council of India or Bar Council of State for representing. So this particular person, I really appreciate his gesture and his hard work and his interest, but he can only be a consultant, nothing more.
Thank you, sir. So, as you said, the books, like in that, which book of LexisNexis book is good for MHCET law exam?
MHCET, that I have to see. I can if there are few queries for particular state things or something, you can mail me. I'll revert it back in very shortest of the time. If there are any queries like this for books or anything, I will revert it back immediately.
Thank you, sir. So, what are the things or pointers a student should know before choosing law as a career?
See, first of all, you must, what I feel, that you must have patience, a lot of patience. Because being a lawyer, you need to have a patient mind. Because there will be days, but there are pros and cons of every career or every profession. So being a lawyer, there are many days when when you won't be getting anything in your hand, you won't be getting cases, your senior will be just making you sit and making you read his own files, and you won't be getting any work to do. So you need to have lots and lots of patience in you. Second, you need to have a good reading habit with you. You must read, at least if you're not reading law, at least read a novel or a part of a novel daily. So one, you must be patient, you must be a good reader, and third, you must be very much inquisitive. You must be having lots and lots of queries within you, unless until you won't be understanding law. These 3 steps, I feel, if you will follow, then you will definitely be a good lawyer.
Thank you, sir. So, is there anything like BTech LLB? If yes, then how it is different from other courses like BA LLB or BBA LLB?
See, it is like I did my BA LLB. All right. Then there are some who do BBA LLB. It differs in a way that when I do my BA LLB, there will be few subjects of BA like English or philosophy or history or you can say sociology or political science. Like these subjects are there that will be involved within the framework of law, like the legal subjects, and that will be taught in initial 2 years. Same as with BBA LLB. There will be subjects of BBA which will be taught in 2 years along with the subjects of law, and same will be in BTech.
Thank you, sir.
But there is one more thing. In all these things, there are certain set of laws which are taught specially along for making a consonance with the actual degree, like BTech. So LLB, there will be few subjects of law, technical subjects of law, which will be taught along with BTech, so that these both can make a consonance.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you suggest some institutions or universities which are very good, to study law?
See, preferably, I'll always say go for CLAT. All right. My first preference always is that you go for CLAT for national law universities. If not, then go for Delhi University is good, Mumbai University is good, Pune University is good, Hyderabad is good, Bangalore is good. Then your Lucknow University is good, Calcutta is good. These are the universities. If you are not going for national law universities. If you're not getting selected for national law university, my always second preference is go for the college of university or department of universities. They are teaching far much better than the private law universities. Though there are good colleges like Symbiosis is there, Ferguson's is there, Nirma is there, then Jindal Global Law School is there. There are not many colleges, but preferably give first priority to CLAT, second priority to the university departments.
Thank you, sir. This is the last question.
Yes.
I'm an electrical engineer and a government employee. How can I get law degree in part-time?
See, there are lot many colleges where this gentleman belongs to.
He hasn't said, sir.
Okay. So wherever he belongs to, there are universities in every place. In every university, there is a course like a distance education course. There must be, which like through evening classes, they provide a law degree. Or if you are not having that law degree, or if you are not having that law option in your university, then you can go for the Indira Gandhi Open University, IGNOU. So IGNOU also provides a law degree, a certificate course in law for 3 years. That is a diploma sort of a thing. But yes, after that you cannot practice because you won't be able to get a license or registration from Bar Council, because Bar Council needs a regular attendance certificate and regular course from a student.
Thank you, sir. So will you be kind enough to share the email ID, or will you be sharing with us so that we can, forward these questions to you?
Sure. You can, if you want, I can send it directly to the participants.
Yes, sir. Okay. If you can mention your email ID now so that they can make a note and they will send you the emails.
Yes, please. If you want to write people, you can say, or I'll just wait. I'm writing my email ID.
Thanks a lot, sir. For all the attendees, the email ID of Ashar sir is posted in the chat box. Please make a note of it. And if you have any further questions, you can directly contact him via email. And thanks a lot, Ashar sir, for this very enlightening session.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.